Hey, what's up folks? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. Today I just want to do a short video on some wintertime finesse, cold water finesse type baits I like to throw. Before I get into the video, I want to thank everybody for all the support for the channel, watching the videos, all the comments and likes, and also I want to ask you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, to consider subscribing. That's the best way you can help the channel as I continue to try to, put out content and get the channel to grow. So I appreciate everyone's input, comments, feedback, and for all the support. Today, quickly, I want to tell you about, everybody knows, all you guys know if you watch my videos enough, I like to throw a lot of moving baits. Sometimes in the winter, cold water, that isn't always how you're going to get bit. I like to throw a lot of flat sides as the water temperature drops, as the water gets colder. And as the water gets colder, it does change the type of baits that you want to throw. You want to throw stuff that, like with your crankbaits, you want them to have a tighter wiggle and not so much of a wide wobble like you do when the water's warmer. I seem to get more bites with flatter sided crankbaits. One of the biggest reasons I think over the years the silver buddy has been such a good producer for people that fish all through the winter is because the action of it is so tight. It's just something about that action when the water gets colder that really attracts fish. That's also the case, I think, with your plastic stuff. Now, I can't always crank, and I know that. So you guys know I love to throw a slider head. To me, it's one of the best jig heads you can throw to catch bass with, in my opinion. I like to take the trick worm off that I'm throwing most of the year when I'm using the slider head, and I have 2 or 3 other little baits that I'll throw in cold water and during the winter that I can get bites on. Now, for these examples, I have an 1/8 ounce head up here, but sometimes in the winter I'll go to a 3/16, and a lot of that depends on the wind and stuff too. So, but the first one is a little, this is called Bitter's Bug, and this is just a black and blue one. But I love to put this on a slider head in the wintertime and toss it around. Wood cover, rock, docks, anything like that. But this bait company is out of Florida. Bitter's Baits is what it's called, and it's a Florida-based company. And this has been a good little bait for me. And you just rig it up on a slider head. I've talked about the slider head, the fall of it, and I think that's got a lot to do with why it draws strikes. But not only with a trick worm, but like I said, when the water's colder and as we go further into winter and the bass maybe not willing to move or chase as much as the water temperature drops, this is just one bait that I'll put on the slider head and I've had good success with. Another one is the good old Zoom Centipede. It's a lot smaller than a trick worm. It's even smaller than a finesse worm. And I like the Centipede because of the way it falls. I always rig it. Everybody, does things a little different, I guess. I always rig it with the flat side down on one of the flat sides so it will glide more. Not how good you can see that, but I always rig it flat side down. This has been another little bait in the wintertime when things are, when you're just trying to get bites. And this stuff will work sometimes even in the summer, but I tend to lean on it more in the colder months and during winter because it's smaller baits, and and I throw a trick worm more during the warmer months. That's just always been my number one bait on the slider head, is the trick worm. But these are baits that I feel like in the winter, because of their size and because they don't have a lot of action and because of the way the slider head falls. And again, this is the Pro slider head. I think it's called the Pro Spider head. But it's not the standard Charlie Brewer slider head. This is the Pro model. And again, the Centipede is just another good bait to go on this. And the last one I want to talk about real quick, and this is just a little beaver style bait, but this is a real tiny one that Bass Pro Shops makes, and I'm sure other companies probably make them too. In fact, let me show you with this one. I think it looks better with this one. And they call this their, pretty sure it's called the River Bug, is what Bass Pro calls it. This is another little bait, and it's just a beaver style bait that looks really good on the slider head, and I've had good success with. Get it up there right. But yeah, this is another bait, again, because of the fall and the way it looks in the water. I think it's just a good wintertime choice, and it's a real small bait as well. And you'd have to use small baits to get them on this slider head anyway, because you know the hook's not very big. But when it's cold and you're fishing in the wintertime and you need some plastic baits to get bit, the fish just aren't chasing, and you try to jig and you got to even downsize even more, then these baits are just three of the things that I'll turn to, and I'll rig them up on a slider head, and they've just always been good for me. So I wanted to share this with you you guys this morning. And again, there's the three baits: Bitter's Bug, Zoom Centipede, and the Bass Pro Shops little beaver style bait. And I will put the names down in the description box of what exactly what this Bass Pro Shops bait is. But I hope this helps. And now that the water's really starting to cool down, it'll give you finesse options on the slider head to help you catch more fish. So I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. I appreciate y'all watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. And tight lines.